So that's what we're doing. We're going to start off with... Are we going to start off with the one that we were on?
Yeah.
You wanted to do a recording of this book.
Mm-hmm.
We can only do it one story at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go in order?
I want to start at Jenny lost her skirts.
But you might appreciate it if it's in order. It's going to drive me nuts if it's not.
Okay.
Are you telling me you don't want to hear the stories again?
I'll listen to all of them. Jenny and the Cat Club.
Alright, let me see if I can get a picture on here. Jenny and the Cat Club, an excessively old book that I got from a garage sale whenever I was a kid. Already kind of damaged. Jenny and the Cat Club by Esther Averill. A collection of favorite stories about Jenny Linsky. I always wondered if there was more stories. Jenny and the Cat Club.
Look at it.
Yep. Cat Club. Let me see if I can... Loyalty, fidelity, truth, deuce.
Look at Jenny's skates.
Yep, Jenny skates. You wouldn't have known that, though, before you heard it, though. It says from the author, this is a collection you will find 5 of the earliest stories I ever wrote about Jenny Linsky, the shy little black cat who lived in New York City. They were first published so long ago that children who used to read them in the beginning are now grown up and have children of their own. This is actually really scary, because the original copyright, honey, look at this, copyright, 1973, copyright, 1953, 1952, 51, 48, 44. First printing, September 1975. Printed in USA.
USA, where the paddle boats are.
But look at this. See, this book was printed here in 1975.
That's old.
But look at this.
What?
1944 is when she started writing about Jenny.
Jenny and the Cat Club.
Okay, so it says from the author, in this collection you will find 5 of the earliest stories I ever wrote about Jenny Linsky, the shy little black cat who lived in New York City. They were first published so long ago that children who used to read them in the beginning are now grown up and have children of their own. But readers continue to ask the same question. Was Jenny real? Yes, Jenny was real, a very real cat. I knew her in the days I lived in a house in the big garden where she lived with her master, Captain Tinker. Night after night, from my garden window, I watched little Jenny wear her red scarf, jump from a downstairs window of the captain's house, and attend the meeting of the Cat Club. The Cat Club would regularly gather at the maple tree, which stood near the corner of the garden. The members came, not only from the house alongside the garden, but beyond the garden's tall bordered fence. Indeed, this was a club of neighborhood cats, and as you might expect, they were of all sizes and descriptions. Each cat had his or her own personality. The sight of so many different furry creatures sitting on the meeting ground beneath the maple tree aroused my curiosity. I longed to know more about them and their activities. It was not proper for me, of course, to intrude upon the privacy of club meetings, but after a while I began to discuss matters with Jenny's Captain Tinker, and he would tell me what he knew about his little black cat and the Cat Club. People elsewhere in the neighborhood, kindly humans who loved all those cats, gave me valuable information, especially about events that sometimes took place beyond the garden fence. Gradually, with a little bit of assistance from my imagination, I was able to piece together these stories. I admit that in writing them, I translated cat talk into language which humans could understand. I described cat happenings in terms that would be most meaningful to you. However, I tried my best to keep the stories absolutely true to the personality of each cat, to the bright, warm spirit of the Cat Club. Esther Averill. Yep.
Can we just move on to the story?
Alright, I'll skip the introduction.
And he's looking at the star.
Now you know why you're not allowed to turn these pages, right?
Yeah.
You see this? How brittle they are?
Yeah.
See how it's coming off in the middle?
Yeah.
Now, in Captain Tinker's garden, once upon a time, there was a cat club. All the cats and kittens in the neighborhood were members, all but Jenny Linsky. Jenny Linsky was a small black orphan cat who lived with Captain Tinker. He had found Jenny in the street where a dog was chasing her. No one knew where she had come from, and Captain took her home. He was very kind to Jenny. She had cream and chicken every night for supper. Her coal-black fur grew soft and glossy. Her yellow eyes began to have a happy look. One day Captain Tinker said to her, "You and I must always be friends." That made Jenny's heart beat fast. But the captain added gently, "I think a little cat like you should go outdoors sometimes and play. Lots of nice cats live in this garden." Jenny had often heard the cat club singing after dark. They do have fun, she thought, but she was too shy to say hello to them. Shy little cats need help, thought Captain Tinker to himself. Captain Tinker, who was an old sailor, liked to make things, and many years ago had learned to knit. He knitted a woolen scarf for Jenny, a bright red woolen scarf to go with her black fur and yellow eyes. How Jenny loved that scarf! How brave she felt when she was wearing it, and one fine night she put it on and went into the garden. It was a lovely garden full of flowers and trees and bushes. On 3 sides were rows of pink brick houses. On the other side was a tall board fence that kept the dogs away. Jenny and the captain lived in the brick house that was covered in ivy. Jenny crept softly through the grass and found a hiding place beneath the rose bush. There she waited for the cat club. She waited a long time. Suddenly, a slim white cat sped through the grass, dashed up the maple tree, and began to sing. This was Concertina, the club's secretary. She sang, "Come all ye cats and kittens with your whiskers and your mittens, come a-running to the cat club jamboree."
He's up there.
Now, can you point out macaroni?
Macaroni's the one who's jumping over the flower.
Yeah,
Flower.
you remember the one who's jumping over the flower.
Yeah, flower.
All right, Mr. President came first. Mr. President was a well-fed cat who always wore a collar with his name and number on a tag. He walked slowly out of his brick house and took his place, the chair, he called it, on the meeting ground beneath the maple tree. When the others came, they came 1 by 1 and 2 by 2. From darkened doorways and over the tall board fence, they formed a circle in front of Mr. President. Mr. President opened the meeting and spoke a few brief words about a money matter. Afterwards, the club moved to the porch of Concertina's house. Jenny stretched her neck, and peeping through the rose leaves saw everything that happened. The spotted twin cats Romulus and Remus crawled through the kitchen window and returned with a large paper package. "A feast, a fish!" cried all the cats. They tore off the paper and devoured the fish. After they had licked their paws and whiskers, the lovely Persian cat Butterfly brought out her nose flute and began to play. The cats sang and danced and joked until the wee small hours when 1 by 1 the club went home. The last cat to go was Jenny Linsky. She had not dreamed that cats could have such fun. Night after night she crept into the garden and watched the cat club from behind the rose bush. "What clever cats they are," sighed Jenny. "All of them can do things. Look at Butterfly. She plays a nose flute. Look at Macaroni. He can dance on his hind legs. And what can I do?" Poor little Jenny. There was nothing she could do, but she was content to watch the others at their fun and frolic. One night, to her surprise, Romulus and Remus, who were going to the meeting, poked their noses right into the rose. I'm so tongue-tied. It's not nose bush, it's rose bush. And cried gaily, "Hi there, sister! You're the new cat, aren't you?" What did gay mean whenever this was written?
I don't know.
It meant happily. So they were crying happily. They were happy to see her. "Hi, sister, you're the new cat, aren't you?" The twins were in such lively spirits that Jenny did not feel afraid. "Yes," she answered. "I am Jenny Linsky." "Well, Jenny, wouldn't you like to join the cat club?" asked the twins. They did not give her time to answer. They whisked her off from between them. But when they reached the meeting ground, fear overcame her. All the other cats were there, staring at her with their gleaming eyes, as if to say, "And what can you do, little black cat? What can you do?" This was too much for Jenny. She gave a yowl of terror and fled home. Next morning, Romulus and Remus went to Jenny's house, looking through the garden window, and called, "Jenny, Jenny Linsky." Jenny did not answer. She was lying on the soapbox in the cellar. The twins had come to cheer her up, and they went away discouraged. In the afternoon, the Persian cat, the lovely one named Butterfly, pressed her silky face against the window pane and called, "Jenny, Jenny Linsky." Meow, 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 meow. What do you think? Is that what it sounded like? Meow, 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 meow. No?
Yeah, just use the words.
All right. Jenny Linsky did not answer. She was still lying on the soapbox in the cellar. Butterfly, too, went off. Discouraged, in the evening, the entire cat club, singing loudly, trooped through the garden on their way to Jenny's house. Mr. President came first. Behind him walked Butterfly, playing her nose flute. Concertina followed. She had...
I'm pointing at the kitties.
That's Concertina.
Yeah, you see.
Behind her, one by one or two by two, the singers marched. First came Romulus and Remus. Next, Mr. President's youngest nephew, Junior, accompanied by Solomon, the bookish cat. The fancy dancer, Macaroni, followed. He was waltzing. Behind Macaroni came the sweethearts, Arabella and Antonio. Lastly marched the two great fighters, Sinbad and Duke. All of them were singing. "Meow and purr, we want her, Jenny, Jenny, Jenny." Alas, they sang too loudly. A man who could not sleep threw down a bucketful of water and broke their fine parade. The members scampered home to dry their dripping fur. They did not meet again until the following night, when they had other plans and did not go to Jenny's house. It was summer, and in the summer, cats' clubs are very busy. So, in the end, the club in Captain Tinker's garden quite forgot poor Jenny Linsky. Still, you cannot blame them. You cannot expect other cats to think always of your troubles. Jenny, who was ashamed of having run away, now stayed indoors. Time dragged. Now and then she played games with Captain Tinker, but when night came, she heard the cats in the garden. She longed to be with them. "And that will never happen," she sighed. They are too clever. All of them can do things. What can I do?" "Nothing." Time passed. The birds flew south, the honeysuckle and the rosebush lost their leaves. Winter came and everything was frozen. Then Captain Tinker flooded the garden and made a pond where the boys and girls could skate. One day, while Jenny Linsky... I'm sorry, it's not Jenny. He doesn't say Linsky there. One day, while Jenny watched the skating from the window, she turned suddenly to Captain Tinker. "I should love to skate," she said. "That's something I could do." Jenny was surprised that Captain Tinker did not answer. She went to him and put her paw upon his arm. "Captain," she said, "if I can only have some skates." Captain Tinker remained silent. He sat in his armchair, puffing at his pipe and looking thoughtful. Jenny did not know that out of the corner of his eye the captain watched her as she climbed the stairs.
Just there.
Upstairs she hunted for skates in bureau drawers and in closet shelves. She found nothing. In the night, while Captain Tinker was asleep, Jenny came downstairs and searched the downstairs closets. She ransacked the drawer where Captain Tinker kept his fishing tackle. She found hooks and lines and crooks, but no skates. In November, it snowed. Hooks and lines and corks, but no skates. In November, it snowed, the first snow storm Jenny had ever seen. All afternoon, she watched the snowflakes falling. By evening, the garden was entirely white. Jenny stole outdoors and hunted in the drifts. She found snowflakes shaped like flowers and stars and spider webs, but no skates. I'm glad Jenny has gone outdoors at last, thought Captain Tinker. Now we shall see what we shall see. Bright and early the following day, the captain went to his workshop in the cellar. He closed the door behind him and would not let Jenny in. All morning she could hear him tapping with his hammer. The mysterious hammering and tapping went on for many days. On Christmas Eve, Captain Tinker came upstairs with something in his pocket. Jenny watched him as he lit the Christmas candle and pulled back the curtain. "The stars are out," said Captain Tinker, looking at the sky. As he said it, he took out of his pocket 4 little. Could they be real? Jenny stared. She reached out and touched them, oh so gently with her paw. They were real, and they were silver, and they had sharp, shiny blades. "Ice skates," she whispered. "Silver ice skates! Oh, Captain!" The captain strapped the skates on Jenny's paws. They fitted exactly. Her ankles wobbled for a moment, then she felt quite steady. Captain Tinker tied her scarf, and she went into the garden. At the pond she hesitated. Which paw goes first? She wondered. She struck forward with her right front paw and glided. Then with her left hind paw she gave a shove and glided further. She began to skim across the ice. It was a pretty sight to see her skating, with her red muffler streaming and her bright skates flashing in the moonlight. Yep.
Let's take a Sharpie.
Mm-hmm. She cut figure eights and flowers and stars.
She's doing it.
Mm-hmm. See all the shapes?
Mm-hmm.
The cat club saw her. They were at the other end of the pond and had been singing Christmas carols. Their mouths hung open and their bulging eyes were fixed on Jenny Linsky. No one in the cat club had ever seen a cat skate. Suddenly, Romulus and Remus cried, "Jenny! Jenny Linsky!" And all the other cats cried, "Jenny! Jenny Linsky!" She glided towards them. Romulus and Remus dashed to meet her, and before she knew it, she was standing in front of Mr. President. "Mr. President," said Romulus and Remus, "we hope that this black cat, a friend of ours, will now be asked to join the club." Mr. President looked at Jenny with his beady eyes. "What is your name?" he asked. "Jenny Linsky," she replied. "Where do you live?" "In Captain Tinker's house." "Can you do anything?" asked Mr. President. "I can skate," said Jenny proudly. "Yippity yip yip yip," cried all the cats. When the cheering died down, Mr. President addressed the club, saying, "The question is, shall our distinguished guest, Miss Jenny Linsky, who can skate, be asked to join the cat club? All cats in favor, raise a right front paw." Every member raised a right front paw. All cats opposed kick a left hind leg. No one kicked left hind leg. 2 cats went into the bushes to count the votes. They came back quickly and whispered in Mr. President's ear. Mr. President looked satisfied. He turned to Jenny. "Miss Jenny Linsky," said Mr. President, "the votes have been counted. I have the noble honor to inform you that you are a member of the Cat Club." "Mr. President," said Jenny in a high, clear voice, "and you, my trusted friends, I thank you." Jenny could have made a longer speech, but the Cat Club crowded her, hoping for a chance to touch the silver skates. Yep, there's Concertina, Romulus, Remus Jr., Arabella, Antonio, Butterfly, the Duke,
Macaroni.
Macaroni. Sinbad refused to have his picture taken. Solomon and Jenny Linsky.
Jenny Linsky's at the back.
To my dear friend Captain Tinker, S.M. Lee, I dedicate this story of my early life, Jenny Linsky.
Look at Pickle.
Yep, that's Pickles. And that's the end of the first story in here. How about tomorrow we record Jenny's first party?
Yes. Your glasses. I must fix them for you.
Oh, no, I got it, honey. It's fine. The tape just came off.